sick of people at ESPN or SportsCenter who think they have their heads on their shoulders, but they really don't? Well, it's time for the Jimmy the K Sports Show. We're going to give you the most urgent sports news. Now it's time for the #1 sports-rated show on the web. It's the Jimmy the K Sports Show. Sit back, buckle up, and get ready for the #1 show on the web. It's me, your host, Jimmy the K. Here we go, friends. Happy Tuesday evening. It's me, your host, Jimmy the K. I'm glad that you stopped by each and every week. Thank you again for stopping by. Wow, all kinds of sports news. I'm going to go ahead and get into it. We'll give you the good news. Many of y'all know that we do have a new website up and running. It's still in the works, people. Just because it's published does not mean that that's everything that's going to be on the page. Believe me. I've got other ideas like there's at least one more header that I'm looking at. As it's a meet us header where you can see the schedule of where you can meet us. We're definitely in the process of working with people, and hopefully next year securing a site at the Oklahoma State Fair where you can come up to the booth, meet us, maybe even try doing a live show or two there at the State Fair. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? So stuff like that, but we'll talk more about that at the end of the show. There's so much sports news to go on. We'll talk more about that at the end of the show. So let's roll. Alrighty. Who thinks the Kansas City Chiefs? I said Chiefs. Wrong sport, huh? The Kansas City Royals are on the verge of a World Series. I do. And if my good friend Brian Williams is watching or listening, I will make no more wagers with you because I had to put up the Kansas City thing the last time for 24 hours. But hey, the Rangers and the Astros played quite well. At least me and my friend Troy didn't have to put anything up since they both died at the same time. So, I mean, hey, it's perfect for us, isn't it? Hey, I want to talk to you about that. The Rangers going out. Elvis Andrus made a couple of errors, and I'm going to call out a gentleman by the name of Jeff Green. Good friends with many of the people that I know. I really hate people that think they're sports aficionados when really they're not. This gentleman and I were debating over the fact of Elvis Andrus being traded. He claims that, with too many years left, that Elvis Andrus won't be traded. He had a good season stat-wise, wouldn't give me stats. That's the thing. Throughout the whole debate, he's like, stats prove that Elvis Andrus had a better year last year. Yeah, fine. Stats prove it, but show me those stats. Guess what? Those stats only prove that the second half of the season he was a better player. The first half of the season he was well on his way to having a bad season just like the season before. So therefore, Mr. Jeff Green, if you're going to bring up stats with me and you're going to try to call me out and tell me that I do not have the connections that I do have, ask anybody who's watched this show. But instead, you want to tell me that you listen to professionals, people that know what they're talking about, people over at The Ticket, people at ESPN Radio Dallas. You want to know something? I'm going to downright call them garbage because, that's what they are. I'm not going to lie about it. That's what they are. If you want to listen to real sports shows, go listen to Adam Clanton in the Houston market. Listen to Brent Clanton in the Houston market. Those are real radio professionals. What you hear over there at ESPN Dallas or, places like that, Jeff Green, is garbage. I've listened to it. It's garbage, all right? So if you're going to debate with me and tell me that Elvis Andrus is not going to be traded because, John Daniels is not the type of general manager John Hart was. I understand John Hart and John Daniels are two different people. But, let's play devil's advocate. Is there a possibility that Elvis Andrus could be traded? Definitely. There's too many years left on his contract. That's what Jeff Green kept bringing up. If you want to call me out, Jeff Green, go right ahead. But, what I have is a platform where people come, people ask their questions, and anyone that has watched this show from day one knows how good of a prophet I am sports wise. If you want to call me the sports prophet, call me the sports prophet. I made the call on Cole Hamels. Ask anyone that has watched this show. Ask anyone that has watched this show who made that call first. It was me. I had a feeling 2 weeks before it even happened that Cole Hamels would be in the Ranger organization. Did it happen? Yes, it did. I can go back through the last year of my shows and give you a plethora of things of calls that I made that were right on par. Right on par. So if you're going to call me out and tell me you listen to those professionals, fine, go right ahead, listen to those professionals. But when I tell you 6 months from now, when Elvis Andrus is traded, I told you so, what's going to be your initial reaction? Is your initial reaction going to be, well, I thought I knew what I was talking about because the professionals over there at ESPN Dallas, told me in a dream. Well, guess what? They didn't tell you in a dream. You listened to them the same way people listen to me. But the truth of the matter is, the difference between ESPN Dallas or any of these other radio shows, with the exception of a few, is that I have made the call well in advance. Well in advance before anything has happened. Ask anyone that has listened to this show from day one. I'm a sports aficionado. I've got connections. I know. There was talk through the connections that I am in contact with that Elvis Andrus' name could be brought up in trade discussions in the offseason. It's possible. Will it happen? There's a slim chance that it will because of, like he said, the years remaining. I'll agree with Jeff Green on that aspect because of the years remaining on his contract. That's what the connections that I've talked to have said. That's the biggest obstacle that John Daniels feels that he's going to have is the years on the contract. But what he can get in return, he knows he can get pretty darn good prospects plus major league ready players in return for that package. But the truth of the matter is Profar is not ready. Andrus will probably not be traded. Although connections, like I said, within the organization that I am close with have stated that it's already been done, it's already been talked about, whether it be in the back burner, there's been discussions, connections that I had over the Cole Hamels deal was one of the biggest obstacles over the last year for the Phillies is they wanted an Elvis Andrus type player. That's what the type of caliber player that they wanted. So, Jeff Green, if you're going to call me out, call me out all you want. But the truth of the matter is, I do have the connections. I have the viewers. I have a lot more years experience in doing this than what you do. So, if you're going to call me out, so be it. But I'll call you out, clear out on my show. I could care less. He's still telling me, professionals don't call people in the same profession garbage, this, that, and the other. Well, apparently you haven't been in this profession because the truth of the matter is 99.456% of the crap that you're listening to on the sports channel, and that's exactly what I'll call it, is crap. Because the truth of the matter is I've listened to many sports channels around, not only the Oklahoma City Metro, but the Dallas Metro, the Houston Metro, with the exception of a few that are crap. People just crapped out a show. I do the best I can with this show. I know there's some flaws with it, and I work vigorously from week to week to try to get those flaws out. But sometimes it takes a little bit more time, But, with the connections I've got, Jeff Greens, don't sit here and try to argue with me over something that I have connections in the organization about. Plain and simple as that. If you're going to call somebody out, have the resources to call them out. You know what stats I'll give you? I'll give you the stats to prove that Elvis Andrus was only better the second half of the season rather than the first half of the season. He much mirrored the Sin Shu Chu of the organization. His second half was better than his first half. What gave? I don't know. I really can't tell you what gave. But all in all, we know the Texas Rangers as an organization are going to go after one. It's already been stated through many people in the organization that one, the Rangers are going to go after pitching because you can never have too much pitching when it comes to the postseason. What's the Astros going to do? The Astros are going to go after more pitching. There's talks from people that I know inside the Houston Astros organization that Chris Carter, could be on the trade block. They could dangle him as trade bait. The Astros will look for more pitching as well, although, they look to develop more of their young players rather than going out and trading everyone in the world for a star. So, with that being said, both those organizations have a lot to do, along with the Seattle Mariners. The Seattle Mariners have interviewed a lot of people, including there is rumors that they have interviewed what's the guy's name? I'm trying to go by the guy's name, and it's slipping my mind right now. I want to say Paul Molitor, but it's not. Jason Varitek, former Boston catcher Jason Varitek, reportedly, supposedly, allegedly, the radio term, allegedly, has interviewed for the Seattle Mariners job. Question is, will he get it? I think he's got the potential to get it, if anything. So, with that being said, the Rangers posted on their website. This is actually pretty funny because if you recall back going to the beginning of the season, and right halfway through the season, from spring training on through the beginning, through right around the trade deadline, I basically stated the same exact stuff. Like I said, I'm a sports prophet, aren't I? The Rangers posted a 3 things that they must address in the offseason. They basically said they needed to craft a solid starting staff. I told you last week that the first 2 priorities that they were going after was Giovanni Gallardo and Kobe Lewis. My initial reaction was that they were going to try to re-sign Lewis. If they couldn't re-sign Lewis, they'd go after Gallardo, and vice versa. People close inside the organization have said that's not true. They are actually in contact with both players, trying to sign both players, because you can never have too much pitching when it comes to the postseason, as you can tell with the Kansas City Royals, the Toronto Blue Jays, New York Mets, and the Chicago Cubs. Darvish just recently had his Tommy John surgery over this past season. He's recovering from that and more than likely will not be ready until at least May of 2016 season. So, Derek Collins is solid. Cole Hamels is solid. Martin Perez is more than likely a solid. And so now you need at least 2 more. Giovanni Gallardo, Kobe Lewis are probably going to hopefully resign. If not, they'll definitely go out. The Rangers will definitely go after pitchers from there. I've already stated that. I stated that last week and from weeks on. Upgrade at catcher. A lot of people say maybe. I think, honestly, they will upgrade at catcher. Matt Wieters of the Baltimore Orioles, if he does not sign a qualifying offer, will be a candidate for many teams, including the Texas Rangers, whom I will ultimately say will more than likely sign him at a 95 to 5% clip, that they will sign Matt Wieters if he does not sign a qualifying offer with the Baltimore Orioles. You just need to stick with the core. The prospects, Shin-Soo Choo needs to come out strong out of the gate rather than wait. Prince Fielder, Adrian Beltre, Mitch Moreland, Elvis Andrus. Like I said, if he's not traded, close people inside the organization say there's a slight possibility, probably about a 5% chance that isn't, he could be traded. It's a very small chance, but there's that possibility. Delino DeShields. The question is, do the Rangers feel like he's done enough to resign Delino DeShields? As a person who has continually talked with the Rangers organization, I have heard nothing but good things about Delino DeShields. The Rangers will look to lock him up, possibly in the 2 to 3, maybe 4-year range. Possibly closer to the 2-year range with a 3rd-year deal and some incentives on if he stays healthy, considering he's been hurt a lot throughout his career. So if you're the Rangers, that's exactly what you need to do. Houston Astros, about similar things are going to happen for your organization as far as core players. My lock, there's a lot of managerial candidates everywhere. The Nationals, I feel, honestly, should and will ultimately sign, not the Orioles, but the Nationals ultimately sign Cal Ripken Jr. as a manager. I think, even though Ripken doesn't have a lot of coaching experience, I think, to be quite honest with you, he does have the ability to coach. Rangers lost their hitting coach, Dave Magadan. He's left to pursue other opportunities. There is talks inside the organization that Pudge Rodriguez could be a candidate for hitting coach. The minor league hitting coach in the AAA organization could be a candidate as well. Jason Giambi's name has been brought up as being a hitting coach, considering he has worked with the young Texas Rangers #1 prospect, Joey Gallo. So, 3 candidates there. If I had to pick out of the 3 candidates who would sign, there's about a 49-51% chance that Ivan Pudge Rodriguez would sign if he took the deal. There's about a 55-45 chance that Jason Giambi would sign. I don't think the AAA hitting coach will take a deal. He'll look for a major league deal elsewhere, in all honesty. With that being said, let's go through and see what else we have. We have the NFL. We have the NFL and the almighty New England Patriots. I have to call them the almighty, even though, to be quite honest with you, the Indianapolis Colts handed them that game after that fake punt or the Tecmo Bowl, whatever that line was. I have no idea what it was. It was a thing from the Three Stooges. I don't know. Whose idea was it to snap the ball, for crying out loud? Especially your head coach, Chuck Pagano, is yelling at you as you're walking off the field. Why did you snap the ball? Why did you snap the ball? I'll tell you why he snapped the ball, because he didn't really know what he was doing. Apparently they didn't practice that play. Why? I don't know. I really don't. But that being said, the NFL has come out with their rankings. I'm going to go over the AP top 25 first as see fit. Basically, it's the AP poll top 25. Then I'm going to give you my top 25, because their top 25 and my top 25 never match up. I'm going to go to the NFL and do the same thing. Then we'll talk a little bit more about the website. So, This is the AP Top 25. AP right here. Ohio State, Baylor, Utah, TCU, LSU, Clemson, Michigan State, Alabama, Florida State, Stanford, Notre Dame, Iowa, Florida, Oklahoma State, Texas A&M, Michigan, Oklahoma, Memphis, Toledo, Cal, Houston, Temple, Duke, Ole Miss, and Pitt round out the top 25. But believe it or not, that's not how my top 25 looks. My top 25 looks like this: Ohio State, Baylor, TCU, Utah, LSU, Clemson, Michigan State, Alabama, Florida State, Stanford, Notre Dame, Florida, Oklahoma State, Iowa, Texas A&M, Michigan, Toledo, Memphis, Oklahoma, Houston, Cal, Ole Miss, Duke, Temple, and followed by Pitt. That's how my top 25 looks. Now, to do the top 25 of the NFL as the same exact thing. Because everyone wants to know the NFL rankings, right? Who doesn't? We know the Patriots are on top. We know that much. We know they are on top. As usual. They're always on top, right? If you're a Cowboys fan, speaking of top 25 in NFL, apparently there's rumors that even Jerry Jones has spilled that Dez Bryant could be back a lot sooner, including he could be back this week when they play their game coming up this week. So this is the NFL Power Rankings. As of right now, hurry up. Of course, everyone knows the Patriots are number 1, Packers number 2, Bengals number 3, Panthers 4, 5 Broncos, 6 Falcons, 7 Jets, 8 Steelers, 9 Cardinals, 10 Vikings, 11 Eagles, 12 Bills, Colts 13, Giants 14, Rams 15, 16 Seahawks, 17 Chargers, Raiders 18, Redskins 19, 20 Browns, 21 Cowboys, 22 Dolphins, 23 49ers, 24 Bears, 25 Texans, 26 Buccaneers, 27 Saints, 28 Ravens, 29 Titans, 30 Chiefs, Lions 31, and rounding out the top 32 would be the Jaguars at 32. I honestly believe that's how the rankings go, to be quite honest with you. I don't think anything changes. I think those teams are about the way they need to be. With that being said, the Kansas City Royals win today 14-2 against the Toronto Blue Jays. They are 1 game away from their second World Series appearance in 2 years. And the Cubs and Mets play tonight. As a matter of fact, they should be playing right now. With all this being said, let's get to the side. All right, the website. Many of you know I posted the website to the All About Sports Zone page. You can look to, if you like the All About Sports Zone page, you look on the side, you can see the website there as listed. I've listed it on my page as well. Simple website. I'll post our website here in the chat discussion for everyone to see. Apparently, Jeff Green is on the show because he got blasted. What's up with Peyton Manning? Peyton Manning's old. That's what's up with Peyton Manning. That's exactly what's up with Peyton Manning. Yes, Oklahoma beat Toledo, but that doesn't mean anything. I give the AP top 25 rankings, then I give my top 25 rankings. Tom Brady is the best quarterback going right now. Yes, I will agree that Tom Brady is the best quarterback right now. There's nobody, absolutely nobody in the NFL right now that mirrors Tom Brady's numbers. Who's going to win the World Series? Right now, I couldn't tell you. I know Kansas City's going to go. I really do not see the Toronto Blue Jays winning 3 straight. Absolutely do not see the Toronto Blue Jays winning 3 straight at all. Even with the power that they got, the pitching staff that Kansas City has the ability to go lights out throughout the World Series. Do I see the Kansas City Royals winning the World Series? I could, definitely. Could I see the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series? No. Why? Because it's 2015 and Back to the Future predicted this. It's not going to happen. Although it would actually be pretty funny if it did, wouldn't it? It would actually be pretty hilarious if they did win the World Series. But the odds of that happening are about 99% that they win the World Series, 1% that they don't. The New York Mets right now have the better pitching staff, to be honest with you. And a lot of people look at the Cubs and say, well, numbers wise, they have a better pitching staff. But you look at the overall picture of the New York Mets, and they've got everything it would take to win the World Series. Look at the San Francisco Giants in years past. The New York Mets right now look to me as the San Francisco Giants in years past. Why am I skipping your questions? I'm not skipping your questions. I'm answering them right now. So his average was worse. RBIs down, less home runs. Whose average was worse? RBIs down, less home runs. Huh? I'm not totally getting your question. I think Jeff Green is trying to blast my show here, isn't he? I'm kidding. Okay. Like I said, Peyton Manning, that's what's wrong with him. He's old. You have to realize Peyton Manning had vertebrae or neck surgery 2 years ago. He come out lights out last year, but he's been hit a lot. And you've got to take it with a grain of salt that you look at the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos have a good organization, but could they go 16-0? I honestly don't think so. If they do go 16-0, it will be on the heels of their defense and not their offense. Peyton Manning, Denver really doesn't have a backup quarterback, not somebody that can go in and, give them the type of play that Peyton Manning or the type of atmosphere that Peyton Manning has. It's kind of like every time A-Rod steps on a field, whether a team is bad or whether they're good, you kind of have that atmosphere of, we're going to come out and give 150,000%, and if you don't like it, too bad. What other questions do you have? Tom Brady is the best QB going right now. I already told you I agree with that. You want stats? You want stats? I'll give you stats. All right. You want Tom Brady stats? I'll give you Tom Brady stats. I'll give you. Does my connections have stats to make your point? A connection is a connection, Jeff Green. All right. All right. He doesn't need stats. He's inside the organization. He speaks with a lot of the upper executives. And I already told you that you've got to listen to all the shows. You have to listen to all the shows. You can't just listen to this one. You can't nitpick this show. Let's look at this. I already told you that over several months, over the last year, ask anyone that's done this show, or anyone that has followed this show, or ask Troy Bustle, ask Brian Williams, ask Mark Roberts, ask all those people that have watched this show continuously. Ask them how many times I've been right. I made the call on Cole Hamels before Cole Hamels was even traded to Texas. Why? Because I knew that. I knew it was going to happen. Everyone in the organization knew it was going to happen. You didn't have to know it was going to happen to know it was going to happen. So, you look at all the stats, his numbers were about, if not even on par with what they had been. They were down a little bit, to be quite honest with you. And Elvis Andrus didn't have a complete full season where he had a better stats. He had a better second half than a first half. You look throughout everything. Even Elvis Andrus in the interview last week with the Toronto Blue Jays, or after the loss to the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 5, where he admitted that he was wrong, he messed up, he was down on himself. He even admitted after that his numbers were not on par with what they needed to be. He needs to get better. You look at his numbers over the last few years. His numbers last year declined. His numbers this year were right on level for somebody that, makes the amount of money that he has, home run wise. Someone has, were his home runs up or were they down? They were even, to be quite honest with you. I think he hits 3 or 4 home runs a year. Maybe 5 or 6. I think the most he's hit in a year is 6. 6 in a year. RBI wise, because he's in that 6th spot now or 7th spot, his RBIs are going to be down. Your RBIs don't go up. The farther down you go in the lineup, they go down. The number 1 and number 2 hitters, along with the number 8 and number 9 hitters in any baseball organization, are your higher RBI guys. They're supposed to be the guys that get the guys in, that get on base, and they can make the runs. You got the 3 and 4 guys. Your 4 guys, your cleanup hitter. So he's going to clean up everything that the other guys couldn't bring in. Right now. These are Tom Brady's stats right now. I'm all over the place tonight, aren't I? Tom Brady stats, and then we're going to go over Elvis Andrus stats because you wanted to know stats. I'm going to give you stats. Why are you skipping my questions? I'm not skipping your questions. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you stats, and I'm going to make you puke stats. All right, as of right now, overall, this is Tom Brady's stats through, I believe, 7 weeks in the NFL. He's got 14 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1,699 yards. And his quarterback rating is 118.4. So, excuse me, do I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL? I will agree with you there. He is the best quarterback in the NFL. No one can argue with the fact that he is the best quarterback in the NFL. His numbers show that. I'm not going to argue with that, period. I'm not a New England Patriots fan, nor do I claim to be. But his stats prove that he is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. There's no one better than him. No one better than Tom Brady in the NFL. Here are my leads. So, yes, I agree that Tom Brady is best in the NFL. So these questions come across, and I'm just going to start deleting them because, oh, I'm going to have to. Okay, here's Elvis Andrus stats. For anyone that wants to refute anything, including Jeff Green. Here are his stats in history. This is from baseballreference.com. So if you're following along with, you can always get your stats, baseballstats.com, stuff like that. Pretty simple. Pretty simple stuff. Alrighty. His stats. Okay, these are his stats. I'm going to go back to 2009 and I'm going to roll through 2015. All right. He's always on par. Every year, I'm not going to refute the fact. Every year, he always plays between 145 and 160 games. He's a pretty healthy player. He does not miss a lot. As a matter of fact, he's not on the DL very much. He's much like Adrian Beltre in that aspect. He does not like missing games. So, you look at, I'm going to start with 2015, and then I'll go backwards. All right, this was Elvis Andrus' stats as of this year. His stats, he played in 160 games. He had 596 at-bats, 69 runs, 154 hits, 34 doubles, 2 triples, 62 RBIs, 25 stolen bases, 46 walks, 78 strikeouts. His batting average was .258. On base percentage was .309. Slugging percentage was .357. On base plus slugging percentage was .667. He had 7 home runs this year. So his home runs was his average was worse, RBIs down, less home runs. To be honest with you, this year, if you look at home run wise, it's one of the years he had the most home runs. 7 home runs is the most he's had. All right, I will admit his home runs were up, but they were only up by 1. So I mean, he's not a power hitter. He's not somebody that is geared for power hitting. So, you look at his RBIs. 62 RBIs. 62 RBIs, yeah, was up from last year, but a lot of things are going to be up when you have a bad year. Last year was his bad year. Okay, so let's go from 2009 now to 2014. Then we'll compare 2015 as well. You want to know Elvis Andrus' stats? Since you're asking questions, I can keep doing this all day long. So if you're viewing the show and want to know anything else, apparently you have the ability to ask questions. So here, I'm not skipping anybody's questions. Believe it or not, I didn't see it. It's one of those things. The chat window's not always up. Okay, here's the thing. Cha-ching. from 2009. This is his numbers on 2009. 2009, he was age 20, 145 games, 480 at-bats, 72 runs, 128 hits, 17 doubles, 8 triples, 6 home runs, 40 RBIs, 33 stolen bases. You know, his batting average 267. And, you know, we're not going to worry about slugging percentage, on base percentage, and stuff like that. Because to be honest with you, the batting average is really what counts. 2010 star, which is an all-star year. 148 games, 588 at-bats, 88 runs, 156 hits, 15 doubles, 3 triples, 0 home runs, 35 RBIs, 32 stolen bases, and a 265 batting average. So basically from 2009 to 2010, his numbers were on par. His home runs went down, his RBIs went down, but his batting average stayed on par. 2011, 150 games, 587 at-bats, 1 less than the year before, 96 runs, so he had 8 more hits, or 8 more runs, 164 hits, which was 8 more hits, 27 doubles, which went up by 12. He stayed on par with 3 triples. He had 5 home runs, which went up 5 from the previous year. And he had 60 RBIs, which went up 25. His batting average was 279, so he had a .012 or 014 batting average jump from 2010 to 2011. 2011, his numbers, he played in 150 games. .587 at-bats, 1 less. Or was that 2000? That was 2000. So we're at 2012 now, excuse me. Had 158 games, 8 more games than what he previously played in the year before. Had 629 at-bats. Pretty good. Went up by 42 from the previous year. He had 91 runs, up 6 from the previous year. 180 hits, which up 16 hits. 31 doubles, up 4 from the previous year. 9 triples, up 6 from the previous year. 3 home runs, down 2 from the previous year. 62 RBIs, which went up by 2 from the previous year. His batting average was 286. It went up that year. So every year we notice an increase until 2013. His numbers start to decline. 2013, 156 games, down 2. 620 at-bats, down 9 from the previous year. 91 runs, up 6 from the previous year. 168 hits, up 12 from the previous year. 17 doubles, down 14 from the previous year. 4 triples, down 5 from the previous year. Stolen bases 42, down 21 from up 21 from the previous year. And a 271 batting average, down .015 from the previous year. Then, 2014, he played in 157 games. He played in 1 more game than the year before. 619 at-bats, down 1 from the previous year. 72 runs, down 19 from the previous year. 35 doubles, which was up 18. 1 triple, down 3. You look at home runs, 2 home runs, down 2 from the previous year. 41 RBIs, which was down 26 from the previous year. Stolen bases, 27, down 15 from the previous year. and a batting average of 263, which went down .008 from the previous year. This year, RBIs were up, his home runs were up, his batting average was worse. Yes, it was. 2015, 160 games, as I already previously stated, 596 at-bats, 69 runs, 154 hits. The runs were down 3. The hits were down 9. The doubles were down 1. The triples were up 1. The home runs up 5. The RBIs up 21. So your home runs and your RBIs, they were up. Your stolen bases, he went down 2. And batting average, he went down .005. But if you look at most of the season, he didn't start really performing until that second half after the All-Star break. Once Texas got Cole Hamels, you saw not only with just Elvis Andrus, but with the rest of the team, how everyone's stats started to increase, how they started to play with a little bit more intensity, how they played with a little bit more vigorousness, and how they played overall. Through Elvis Andrus's 7-year career, he's played in 1,074 games, 4,119 at-bats, 573 runs, 1,113 hits, 176 doubles, 30 triples, 27 home runs, 367 RBIs, and his batting average is 270. His on-base percentage over the 7 years is 331, and slugging percentage 357. Or 347, excuse me, and his on-base plus slugging percentage is 679. So, with that being said, those are all the questions that I was being hit with for the show tonight. Remember, you can do the same thing. If you follow us on All About Sports Zone Facebook page, just go to facebook.com/allaboutsportszone. Or if you go to Twitter, follow me at Jimmy Kersey1. Or you can email these same questions to me at allaboutsportszone@gmail.com. That's allaboutsportszone@gmail.com. Or if you're like this one gentleman was, hitting me throughout the show, and you can continue to hit me throughout the show, even after the show is over with. I'm more than welcome to answer any questions that you have about sports. You know, if you have any other questions, you can like our Facebook page, facebook.com. Just search for All About Sports Zone. Like us there. You can like us on Twitter at Jimmy Kersey1. You can email me any questions, sports questions at allaboutsportszone@gmail.com. Again, that's allaboutsportszone@gmail.com. Or you can be a fan of the unofficial All About Sports Zone page. It is a new website we have created. Just go to www.screamerproduction.wix.com/allaboutsportszone and become an unofficial member of the show. You can submit your sports pictures, submit anything, sports questions there as well. That website is up and running. It's a work in progress, still under construction. Remember, those are ways you can get in touch with me. Or if you watch each and every Tuesday night at 7, you can like us and ask us any questions you have there as well. So, until next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time, I'm your host, Jimmy the K. And until next week, when I hope to call somebody else out, I'm your host, Jimmy the K. And Jeff Green, if you want to call me out all you want, go right ahead. Because the truth of the matter is, I've got a show, I've got connections, and you don't. Until next week, I'm your host, Jimmy the K. Peace out.